Melissa Caton is not deaf, but has dedicated a majority of her life to the deaf community.
The minute I was born, ASL, American Sign Language, it was my first language.
And for this former Barrigada resident, her childhood wasn't spent watching cartoons or playing outside, but instead involved negotiating a car deal and setting up doctor's appointments. Just a few of the services she provided as an interpreter for two people she continues to look up to.
When I was a kid, they say I kind of spoke funny. I sounded like a deaf person, like I had a deaf voice. It was English words and you can kind of hear it, but it's just because I have learned from my role models, which would be my deaf parents, who I learned from.
Melissa is the child of deaf adults, Bob and Margaret Uggan Caton. She also has a younger brother who is deaf. Her mother, Margaret, is one of 10 siblings, which includes a deaf sister. Just like Melissa, growing up wasn't easy for Margaret.
I saw many hearing people. Everybody was all hearing, and I was the only one deaf there. I thought I could talk. I would move my mouth and gesture to them, but my classmates would all look at me and tease me and kind of call me dumb or mute.
Melissa and her parents are now back on Guam from Washington, hoping to break the world of silence that many in the deaf community live in.
Now I'm brave and I'm strong, and I know I can communicate with hearing people. I can hearing with whoever. I have no fear. Now that I'm back on Guam, they say, oh, oh, that's Margaret, she can't talk. And I'm like, excuse me, I am here and I am deaf and I can talk and I can communicate. And I will say, don't discriminate, don't push us down.
Bridging the gap between the deaf and hearing worlds is the goal of the documentary Melissa is directing here on Guam.
The documentary is going to hit on just sharing our deaf Guam people, sharing who they are, where they're from, their background, where they work, just so you can get to know them. And also kind of identifying their struggles and barriers, because I feel like once we go, oh, that's cool, and understand deaf people, their world will change. Their world will be even better.
The National Board Certified Teacher and 20-year sign language interpreter has spent the last 3 years recording and documenting the stories of our deaf Manumku. The film will include voice interpreting, subtitles, and the opportunity to learn the island culture through Chagi Chamorro signs.
So our hope is to bring them all back together. The deaf community right now is kind of disintegrated and it lacks leadership and understanding, and so it's kind of all broken. And so we're trying to bring it together, not only just with the deaf community, but with hearing people involved, so it could just be a stronger awareness.
Caton says awareness is the goal, as research has shown that Guam has less than 200 deaf people. And while improvements have been made compared to decades ago, the Catons say Guam is still behind in terms of services with the integration of technology and the standards of interpreting. Melissa's dad, Bob Caton, says he hopes the documentary will help the future generation of deaf children.
To make things look better with the interpreter system, to get them more focus on our deaf children, to be patient, and don't shun them, to reject them, or just to leave them alone.
Guam Deaf Exposed and Empowered is set to be completed in October and featured at next summer's Festival of Pacific Arts. For more information, you can email empowerguamdeaf@gmail.com. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.